Only those who know. The rest of you can sit. He ho mai ka ike mai luna mai e. O na mea huna no e au. O na mele e. E ho mai. E ho mai. E ho mai e. Ike mai luna mai e. O na mea huna no e au. O na mele e. E ho mai. E ho mai. E ho mai e. E ho mai ka ike mai luna mai e. O na mea huna no e au. O na mele e. E ho mai. E ho mai. E ho mai e. Okay, the rest of you, please stand and hug somebody next to you while you move forward. Every seat is taken, computers are closed, and I'll give you 25 seconds to do it. Go! Bring your seats closer, everybody. This is policy. Patanjali, 800 years ago, said that the world was going to collapse because of three ideas: word, meaning, and perception. Word, meaning, and perception, okay? What does that mean? No taking notes. I mean it. The difference between ho'olohe and ho'olono is the difference between listening and hearing. So the difference in an indigenous way is you're going to not want to cognitively accumulate information. You're going to want to transform. If knowledge is power, understanding is liberation. Okay? So I'm not talking to your brain. Me and my family are sitting down to enjoy your company, your good company, your good company from this beautiful Aina. So please, cognitive accumulation of information, no. A changed disposition and an encouragement of your own, epigenetic structure, yes. Yeah. Got it? So when you hear E Ho Mai, and when you chanted it, what did you feel in this room? Power, mana. What else? Connection, maikai. What else? Hope. Oh, nice, hope. Who said that? Nice. That's lovely. That's energy. When Einstein said the consciousness that is going to solve a problem cannot be the same consciousness that developed it, he wasn't just, voicing something in the air. He was making sense. And that sense is energy. And that sense is consciousness. And so, welcome to Indigenous policy. We start by connection. Okay? But we need your help. We do. We need your acumen. Marcia, thank you. Thank you for your acumen. Thank you for your passion. We need your help. But nobody's ever asked us to events before, really. So when you get us in events, you get this kind of treatment. Okay? But that's our policy. Policy for us is an energetic field that connects to ancient forms of continuity. And that's why we're all here, to figure out how to do that better, right? Indigenous. Everyone thinks Indigenous is a synonym for racial, some kind of separation. It's not. Cut it out. We didn't invite we didn't even invent racial distinctions. We just married each other. And we'll intermarry into the rest of our lives. We are all indigenous to some land, some place. All indigenous means, basically, is continuity. Contiguity and continuity, right? So it means that which has endured, that which has thrived. So if you want to know how to thrive on the planet, buckle up. That's my mother over there, and that's my uncles and aunties. Those are her siblings. I offer my gratitude for them. They're all gone now. And so I do miss my mom. So Indigenous, I just, to be invited to talk to mostly a non-Indigenous group is always exciting for me, because I think sometimes some of these ideas are the first time you guys have heard this. So let me be very clear that, first of all, we are all Indigenous, all right? So don't feel separate from that idea, all right? Because Indigenous simply means mo'o. Mo'o, can you say mo'o? Mo'o, say mo'o. Say mo'olelo. That's stories. Say mo'okuauhau. That's genealogy. And mo'opuna. Say mo'opuna. That's our grandchildren. Mo'o is a synonym for that which continues. Touch the back portion of your head, please, right here. Touch it. That is where your reptilian brain resides. We are all mo'o. Mo'o is like reptile. It's a big reptile. It's old. We have stories that are so old that we actually say we come from mo'o. Isn't that amazing? You know what I mean? No one's textually written this. We know this. So mo'o means continuity. So I can always tell when there's mo'o in the room. The mo'o in the room is an energetic field that doesn't just say relationships matter. They actually practice what that idea means. All right? And I love some of the ideas that Mark brought up yesterday. I'm going to bring them up today. But basically, let's go over what continuity means for the purpose of this conference. Mark, raise your hand, Mark. Thank you for yesterday. He gave an absolutely stunning and powerful and summary of the distinction. Ultimately, it's a false duality, but we have to print it up as a false polemic so that people can see the distinction. And this was the biggest distinction yesterday, Mark. Really brilliant. He said social scientists tend to ask, how can we increase the use of research in decision making? How can we increase the use of research in decision making? That is a great question. Very, 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 what's the word? I call it garden variety empiricism. And then, from a woman, thank you, Carol, how can we make wiser decisions, and in what ways can research help? What a different question. Now, if you don't know the distinction of that, maybe you and I should sit at a bar tonight and enjoy each other's company. Because wisdom is what sets that apart, not power, control, money, and the garden variety of empiricism. Wisdom. So when he was talking about wisdom, Mark, then you're going into my territory. This is my territory. Epistemology, my family, my friends said I could not bring the word home because it's too high mucky muck. Can everyone say epistemology? What is funny about that word? It's got piss in it. Nice. Good. You can take it home now. In my community, if you use words like that, you are you are acting like you're somebody. You know what I mean? So no act. So just because I took that $10 word, then I had to figure it out what it meant. It's a long story, and if you're interested, I'll tell you later. But the works first started in the specificity field, and then it went to universality. So that's how we know that specificity is key to universal principles. You have to have both, all right? So the specificity for my life is in my own Hawaiian cultural worldview, specific to the lands of Hawaii and all the islands, Maui, Molokai, Lanai, Kauai, Moko Keawe, Oahu, and Maui. I said that. So it began in Hawaiian epistemology. Then people I could see in the audience, they were like, yeah, well, I'm not Hawaiian. I'm like, don't take it personal. So then I went to Indigenous, and I kept saying indigeneity is about, the mo'o, is about continuity, is about that which has endured, and people still didn't feel included. So then we had to go to holographic, and now I hope you feel included. Because knowledge, Mark was heading into the field of epistemology because everything touches our philosophy of knowledge. Everything touches how knowledge is produced, consumed, developed, and transformed. Everything. But let's talk about what knowledge really is. And for Indigenous scholars, we had to go to the hologram so that people can actually feel and see what knowledge is. Okay, so what's happening in this picture? Those of you fans. The Matrix. What's happening here? Yeah. Neo, that's right. Neo, okay, wait, what happened to Neo? He was killed, right? But was he really dead? No, he was still in his body, but who revived him? Trinity! You guys, it was about love. Everyone just doesn't get this part. She kisses him, and she goes, you can't be dead. You're the one. And he goes, love revives us. Really, it's that simple. And he wakes up because the body and the mind must be together. The Cartesian separation is an illusion that we have held up for reasons that are no longer appropriate. So love makes him wake up. His mind is now connected to body. He stands up and he sees the world for what it is. Logarithms, an illusion, a matrix. And then he's able to digest his enemy. Isn't that beautiful? That gives me chicken skin. He goes running after. There's a story that you go, 3 Buddhist priests are walking and they're going to the entrance of a Buddhist temple, and this huge dog, with fangs and drooling teeth leap after them. They're like, oh, good thing the chain's nice and strong. So they go around him, and just before they get to the door, the old monks surrounded by 2 young monks, what do they see? The dog running after them with the broken chain. They're going to get killed. So instantly, the 2 young monks, they run into the back of they hide. The old monk, what does he do? He turns slowly and starts running to the dog. Okay? That's what Neo did. You got to run to the dog. We got to run to the dog of our disbelief. We have to suspend our disbelief so that we can begin a spiritual practice of coherence. All of us. And this is very vital for these times so that we can get it and collaborate in mythic ways. Because knowledge is a hologram. I'm going to prove it. Now, we had to go to holographic epistemology because it basically describes native common sense. Okay? I've written on this. If you're interested, I'll send it to Marcia. These are things that are synonyms for the whole universe. And the hologram is a very interesting idea because it has 3 beams. Not 2, not 1, 3. And the beings basically, the idea that knowledge today, you have to understand that it's always been this way. We've just misplaced its clarity in the current systems. The whole of life appears to exist in all parts. That's what a hologram does. When you break the image of a hologram, what's cool about it, you pick it up, and every single shard, every single broken piece, you have the whole image. All right, so every student you meet makes a difference for the sustainability movement. Every policy that you even think of has a future of changing the planet. Every conversation that you have with another colleague has the potential of changing the world. Every single piece is whole. No radical separation between mind and the world. Neo figured that out. When you get that there's no radical separation, then you will act accordingly. Reality manifests as an undivided whole. See the whole, all of physical reality is a single quantum system, and it is self-organizing. I love that. You're all meant to be here. Don't give your personality credit. Okay? Don't make it an ego game. Universities are imploding at faster rates. Make your scholarship matter to our mother. So when we tried to stop the TMT telescope, I love astronomy. I married the CFO for the Gemini telescope for 11 years. It was fantastic. She was really special. But we had to say no to the final telescope, the largest in the world. We had to. They were going to really dig eight stories down into our watershed and into our beloved mountain. And we've been trying for 35 years to stop. We're not against science. We are for our mother. So we are not protesters, we're protectors. But this time, we introduced the idea of kapu aloha. Kapu is reverence. Aloha is compassion. We had to introduce to the world something that we practice in our own lives with our cultural students, the practice of reverence, of loving. It was pretty tricky, pretty iffy, but it's ahimsa. It's what Gandhi did. When you introduce the idea of loving, you should have seen the young boys. They were it was hard, but they held it the most. And that is, when you're tormented by others, you give them love. Very difficult to do. Try it. So the kapu aloha basically stopped everything, thanks to social media and the energy of beloved friends. But it was the reverence of loving. We had to love land. We had to love our mother first. When you show that form of respect and that form of compassion and passion, everything follows. Absolutely everything. So now it's tangled in the courts, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Take that telescope somewhere else. We have to show our priority of love of land. If we do not do that, no one will. And I beg you to rethink your priorities. Because here they are. They're already the post-quantum world of simultaneity, and they're calling it non-locality nowadays. It means that, and they've actually showed this through empirical sources, that an energy 1,000 miles away touches each other simultaneously. We know that. Every single person in this room has had experiences of simultaneity when you thought of someone and she rang you. Every single person. I can tell you hundreds of stories. These are ideas, synonyms. Mutual causality is one of my favorites. That is that's a Buddhist term, mutual causality. Dependent co-arising, paticca samuppada, Indra's net, whakapapa for our Maori cousins. Koau kokoi, kokoi koau. This is kind of an image of what it looks like if you could see it. Everything does touch everything. Think, when you are in a group, you guys, think permaculture, not as a noun, but as a way of thinking. Everything's connected. I love those images. Here again, these are specific ideas from Robert Nadal and Menes Kafatos in 1999. This is a new science. Consciousness or mind must be seen as an emergent phenomenon in a seamlessly interconnected whole. It's connected. So when we say the world is connected, it's not a naive idea. It's a very complex one that we've placed in the hippie realm because we don't understand it. I think every Hawaiian family needs a good hippie. They really have a different skill set. And you have to have difference in your families to expand your mind. The bridge of human consciousness with physical reality. This eliminates the two-world Cartesian dilemma. No radical separation between mind and world. These are quotes from these physicists and mathematicians. And that's 1999. You know, this is, you have to know that this stuff has been coming ever since they saw light, and light was both particle when you looked at it, and when you turned away, it was waves. That's an impossibility. So when you look at waves, your consciousness, when you look at light, our awareness of it actually changes its physical properties. That's an impossibility, so they said. So that's when we entered into a post-quantum world, and that's when people started to understand, potentially, indigeneity. So see the circle on the bottom? Mark, I love this question. How well do we understand? You know what I mean? People use the word understand like it actually means something. But if you're going to understand something, you're going to be really liberated. Your concepts will change. You will be of service to land in deeper, more meaningful ways. Mark's question, do we have humility when we approach the policy research interface? That's an indigenous question. That's an old question, because that's a mo'o question. When you talk about humility, this guy, did you see him surfing? If you do not know how to surf, you would be killed now. This gentleman is such a good surfer to take an 80-foot wave. So you got to know who you're talking to. You got to know yourself. You got to know the vision that you hold for the world. You really got to know who you are. Because if you go out and interface with us or any community, you're going to get smashed. You got to be good at it. And this is a picture that always inspires me. I am so not that kind of surfer. You know what I mean? You got to respect people who are. You can't, if it's not you, then get somebody else. But figure out your skill set and then go and seek a stronger community of coworkers, colleagues, friends, family. I'm going to do a bumper sticker that says, nepotism rocks. Conflict of interest is not an indigenous idea. It never was. Conflict of interest is about money and power. I liked what Alex said this morning, relationality. Is that the word, Alex? We are about relationality. Anyone who says I have a conflict of interest, I'm like, what? No way. She's my sister. There's no conflict of interest there. I got the best. Do you understand? The mo'o doesn't live in conflict of interest. Power, money, and control does. And that's unsustainable. Thanks for that question, Mark. Because humility, is the highest goal of my people. Remember when this happened? I swear, I love Star Wars. I'm not a Trekkie or anything like that, but I read it and what is she saying? Help me, or what was she doing? That is a hologram, okay? So one of the first ones that we saw in 1976 or something, 75. It was amazing. A hologram is really cool because it's got I love this. It's a three-dimensional image. It's got 3 beams, okay? The 3 beams are really clear. And for knowledge production, especially when you listen this afternoon, this morning to your workshops, I want you to consider the 3 beams that are the mo'o for knowledge. And the 3 beams that make knowledge a hologram are, it's just known in philosophy. They call it the big 3, Ken Wilber called it. The Vedic scholars call it the 3 categories of nature. The Tao Te Ching says the Tao gives birth to 1, 1 gives birth to 2, 2 gives birth to 3, and 3 gives birth to all things. Halimakua, or Matakite, our kahuna, said, he called it the 3 souls, okay? Get ready for the 3. Now, whether it's 3, 4, 5, or 64, it doesn't matter. But right now, I'm trying to offer a simple way to get to the mo'o of knowledge production so that you can develop a different frequency when you write, think, and discuss your policies. All right? So you're going to stand up and get them closer. Everyone's going to crowd around here because usually I'm in a kind of a stadium and it's dark and everyone can read it. It's very legible, but I love that it's like this because then you get to come and you get to stand really close and then figure your favorite one out and talk to people. Those of you who can see, stay. Those of you who need to move. This is the physical, mental, and spiritual beams of life. These are the authors of some of the books I've been reading for the last 25 years. And all of a sudden, it just bing, a penny dropped, a bell rang, and every single writer spoke in the trilogy. There's a physical reality in the world. That's the garden variety of empiricism. Very necessary. Don't turn your nose on objectivity. It's a really good thing. But don't stop there. Then we have a mental part of the world, the subjective world. Sir Karl Popper, the scientific philosopher of the planet, said it perfectly when he called that the trilogy is objectivity, subjectivity, and the third category for him was cultural. So there's an outside, physical, empirical, body, physics. There's an inside, mental, conceptual, subjective world. And then there's a transspatial world. Damn it, I'm coming out. I'm coming out. I'm coming out as a person that understands the post-quantum world we live in. We have to start talking about the transspatial world that has always been present but ignored because of the thinking of that time. There's no anger anymore. We just need to be clear. So the third category, the third beam that actually pops the image out, because if you know about holograms, the 2 beams just make that image blurry. That third image pops it out, and that's spirituality. I'm not talking about religion. Spirituality is like the grandmother. Religion is the bureaucracy of spirituality. Okay? Spirituality is the post-quantum, transspatial, hidden, implicate order that is actually always present, never gone, never left. We've just ignored it. And that's found in our relationality. So please, I want you to find the trilogy that makes most sense to you. We're going to take 5 minutes, stand up, and then come close. Here we go. Go. Okay, guys, which is your favorite? Classic, relativistic, unified, dense, dynamic. Understanding is a liberating act. When you say you understand something, you really, really change. And that's why the sustainability movement must get to the concept of understandability so that our children learn to love land. Knowledge is beautiful, but we are educated by beauty. Knowledge is beautiful, and we are educated by beauty. And that's what's found in our land. A relationariness, yeah? But isn't that list? Henry Giroux, there's technical rationality. That's the physical. That's the hermeneutic rationality. That's my favorite. We are in a space right now to define our hermeneutic rationality. Hermes, of course, was the son of Zeus and Meyer, and he was like the Maui of the Pacific. He was a naughty boy. So when he translated things, he said it very poorly to get people in trouble. So that hermeneutics is the philosophy of interpretation. We have to interpret our world differently. But of course, emancipatory rationality, Henry Giroux said, is the third. That's where spirit comes in. That's where we've got to step out of the closet of our own self-sustaining fear. We've got to be courageous. Not that we're going to all sing Kumbaya, you know what I mean? But let's do this thing better. Okay, sit down. Thank you, everybody. Do I have 5 minutes, Marcia?
Yes.
5 more minutes? Yep. Do you guys get any a couple questions on that list? Couple questions? Anybody? Question? Colonization. Harmonization. That's Teilhard de Chardin. Yeah. Harmonization is the activation of our consciousness. Seeing, harmonization, convergence. Harmonization is the activation of consciousness. I think consciousness is the only thing that's worth studying nowadays, personally. But what does that mean? That's what it means. Your discussions today, they're going to have a physical, they're going to have a literal idea, they're going to have a multiple meaning idea, and then they're going to have a transformative idea. It must have all three. Don't just make your policies about the mind. Don't just make it about the body. The body and the mind have to collaborate and get animated with the spirit. All right? These guys, Spinoza didn't say, there's Spinoza. Which one was his? I just love reading his one day. And his was, I think I might have taken it out. This came to me personally by studying Hawaiian epistemology, because one word in our language, ike, means to see. Ike also means to know, and ike also means to be given revelations from the gods. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of power for 3 letters. But that's because knowledge that continues is contextual. We just think it's textual. So continuity is about context. That's why you must have better relationships with the interface between policy and research, because that's where the mo'o lives. That's where continuity lives. So that's my twin sister. I have a twin. Her name is Moana, and she's been my mentor in life because she's completely opposite of me. And if you don't love what's opposite of you, really, what? That's the purpose of conflict. Conflict helps us awaken. All right? That's why I make you guys on the edge of your discomfort. The question I ask you, are you mad at me or are you liberated because you're curious about what's going to be said? So if you're uncomfortable and mad, wow, congratulations to your conflict. Because that's an important thing to look at. Because conflict is a midwife of consciousness, Paulo Freire said. And I appreciate that clarity. And Heidegger said it just as well when he said, the purpose of conflict is unity. So we're heading to a unified field. Many philosophers call it singularity. Because if we're not, we're like, we're going to get shaken off this planet like a little virus. Because the earth doesn't need us. We need the earth. And I know you know that. But now we need to bump up our intelligence into an interconnectedness so that we're not saying that colleague is an asshole and that person should be, shot or whatever, you know what I mean? We're working toward a better field of relationality. That doesn't mean don't disagree with somebody when they want to dump uranium. Stop that person. But you know what, I have to say karmically, that person, the Monsanto guys who developed the, what's that seed that kills its progeny? Thank you, my dear. When Monsanto developed the Terminator, those scientists are unhappy. Their children are strung out, and their wives hate them. Honestly. So that's called karma. They're meant to do that so we wake up. That's the correlative, that's the self-operating system. That's how much I believe in it. The world is self-organizing. It's already organizing. So let us organize at a higher frequency. Like my sister Moana and I. I'm just going to show you this really quick. This is what we're trying to develop in Hawaii, a Native Hawaiian Center for Sustainability Community Food Systems. And so because function is the cornerstone of Indigenous epistemology, no more function, no more junction, I say in academic circles, and you got to have one function. Your policies have to be tied to function. And if the function isn't tied to the care of land, and of course it is, but you conservationists always kick out humans. Why do you do that? It's really a bummer, because we take care of land. It's just people who don't know how to do it don't do it well. So put us back on land. Put us the ones that can handle. We're not the enemy. You just think we are. So healthy food, but make it functional. Make it functional so that the waterways can fill our fish ponds again and food can be produced. But if you make function at the center of your policies, then everything will change. The function of the revival of people and land. People and land, it's the same idea. We shared, we didn't barter. That's what in the food sovereignty movement, we shared. Everyone thinks bartering is a higher frequency. No, it's not. It's one based on counting. We shared. Can you imagine if I were to say, okay, uncle, I'm giving you 3 ulu, I want 14 moi. We didn't do that. We shared. So the concept of a sharing economy is the sacred economics of our future. Wisdom is found in the quality of our relationships, not in the fact of them, in the quality of them, okay? So we just have to really clarify the relationality that will help us evolve. Relationality is a given. Now it's the quality of how we do that that's going to get us to the next phase. Oh, now this is really bad, but I'm going to read it to you. So close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. This is our University of Hawaii sustainability, policy on sustainability. Ta-da! 2015. So everyone close your eyes so I can read it. Within its unique geographical location, the university will serve as a leader in how it stewards the resources of the islands and the world for the benefit of all. The university shall be a global leader and model for the integration of sustainability throughout its teaching, research, operations, and public service. The university recognizes that an important knowledge base in sustainable island systems resides in the indigenous people of Hawaii and all those for whom Hawaii is home. The university commits to consult with local cultural practitioners and sustainability experts on best practices in sustainable resource allocation and use for the well-being of our communities, our state, and the world. Critical resources include energy, food, water, land, sea, and space as they are integrated with the relationships of family, culture, community, justice, work, and economy in the present and future. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? That's the difference between na-na and ike. What's the difference between looking and seeing? Anybody? Yeah. Understanding. It's consciousness. You can look at the problem and describe it, and then, make your policies to make penal, those who dump trash in the ocean. It doesn't stop the ocean liners from dumping their trash just because the Kyoto, Accords went off. That doesn't mean people follow it. People still dump millions of gallons of trash in our beloved ocean. Just because there's a law against it doesn't mean that they're not doing it. They're still doing it. That's looking. Seeing is another matter, because if a policy has to be policed, which of course it does, or else why are you going to write it, it's not sustainable. We've got to get to the table people that really understand the need, the efficacy, and the accuracy of your writing and how you do it. It's not just that it's done, it's how it's done. And that's hanging from my truck when the sun shines through it. There's got to be light in your discussions. By the way, blue is the ancient color of love. It's not red, that's Hallmark. Blue, Aboriginal, China, Turkey, Hawaii. Blue is Wakia, it's expansive, infinite, 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 infinite. If you want to go to indigenous cultures, blue is the ancient color of infinity and therefore of love. That's our Molokai, I believe. I'm not quite sure. Yep, that's our Loko'i'a, that's our fish ponds. We fed more people in Hawaii 300 years ago than today. 95% of our food is shipped in, but that's a Loko'i'a. And the university is recognizing that we have what we need and we are who we need. And so when they recognized us in the 2015 policy, it changed my life. Actually, I just got that policy, 3 days ago. But my life has changed every day. Because we can feed 1 million people. We have the most brilliant ecosystems in the world. But hey, people are filling it in to put condominiums. So we are going to have to prioritize our own life. We are going to have to prioritize our own clarity. And ask the right questions. Thank you, Mark. You got to ask the right questions. Don't just ask questions. You got to ask the right questions. Because if you don't ask the right questions, you're really going to get the wrong answer. The right question for standardized tests for my people, they used to ask in the 80s, why aren't Hawaiians testing as smart as their mainland counterparts in the English portion of the SAT? And I'm thinking to myself, that is not the right question. The right question is, what is the purpose of standardized testing in the decay of creativity and therefore true intelligence in our communities? Ask the right questions and then answer them with your life. Please. Mahalo e ke akua, na kini akua, na auma akua, na kupuna kia vahipana. Mahalo ka akua pao, mahalo nui.